Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's do these. Well, the last couple of weeks have been really interesting. Really interesting nonetheless. It's laughable, it's inspirational, motivational, all of those things. And I'll tell you why. Hi friends, welcome to Fortify the City. This is Sadé, the cultural activist. Let's talk about it. So, my last couple of episodes discussing the Tila Tequila debacle and what she had to say about black women. And then after sharing my take on it and my stance, I got a lot of mixed reviews, and that was expected. It was expected because I do realize that the Bible is offense. And that's coming from the words of my pastor. The good word is offense. The gospel is offense. It's not even just unbelievers who are offended by the word. Christians can be offended by the word. Naturally, we are offended by anything that's constructive for the most part, you know? So with that said, one of my lovely commenters, well, there was a few people who, like I said, were for it and a few who were against it. This particular person, however, was clearly not for it and felt the need to come against me, like way against me, in the same way that Tila Tequila was coming against black women. And I'm pretty sure that this person was a black person coming against me in a hateful, oppressive kind of way. Meanwhile, telling me that I should not give way to my oppressor. But at the same time, I don't know if it was a male or female, so I don't want to emphasize gender. This person was trying to oppress my voice. They didn't like what I was saying, so they went on to be really disrespectful, just like Tila Tequila was, and tried to degrade me, which I found laughable because ultimately, that's exactly what the oppressor does. So here is a black person. I'm pretty sure this was a black person because of how they were speaking. Here's a black person telling me not to give way to the oppressor. Meanwhile, that same black person was trying to oppress my voice because they didn't like what I was saying. They didn't like the stance that I took, as it was a very biblical one. It was a very spiritual-led one. I wasn't being at all, in my opinion, I don't think I was coming against black people. I feel like I was just trying to encourage us to read the word, you know? But hey, take it how you want to take it. But anyway, so I just want to break down what an oppressor looks like, because clearly for some of us, we think that the oppressor is the white man and the white man alone. But you should all know by now that the oppressor can be anybody. It doesn't have to be the white person. It can just be someone who's against what you are for. We should all be able to agree to disagree without having to disrespect each other. We should be able to have a conversation, a debate, without being hurtful, without trying to clown each other, because that's where the problem comes, right? When we start to do those things, when we start to come against each other in such a way, that's where the animosity grows, where anger erupts, and then people, they cause harm or they wish harm on each other. That's where the human nature kind of comes in, and we then become our worst enemy. So I need everybody to understand that you don't have to be a white man to be the oppressor. You can in fact be my brother or my sister and try to oppress me. It's a natural state of mind where there's a disagreement, a misunderstanding. You don't understand where I'm coming from. So because of that, you seek to hurt me, whether it be verbally or physically, emotionally, or financially. That's what an oppressor is, folks. It doesn't have to be the white man. We see every day black people killing black people. What do you think that is? What do you think that generates from? An oppressive mindset. Black people have long been oppressing each other. That's why we're going through some of the things we're going through now. This is why white people can look at us and laugh at us when we say, oh, stop oppressing us, when they see us doing it to each other. So if we do it to each other, they feel like they can do it to us too. All right, friends, what does oppression look like? Oppression, in its literal sense, is defined as the result of a cruel or unjust exercise of power. It is the exertion of power or control by a group or individual in power over those who don't have power. Oppression is when someone or a group holding the upper hand, someone of the dominant group, uses their power cruelly, harshly to hinder the progress or the enlightenment of another. Systems of oppression can be individual, institutional, and societal. The effects of oppression as we know it have a long history deeply rooted in the culture, and not just American culture, but in religion, amongst gender roles, and yes, of course, race and those things. Some examples of oppression in modern day that I can think of off the top of my head, okay, silencing someone when they're trying to speak their truth or truth at all, and yes, even when they're trying to spew the lie. People using their voices, especially when it's a loud one, a voice of power, to shut someone else down. Oppression can also be forcing someone into something that they aren't in agreement with, combating someone because you disagree with their stance, and doing it in such a way that you insult them, you degrade them, or on one hand, stopping someone's bag if you have the power to. An oppressor is someone who can outsmart you, so much in fact that they are able to take something that belongs to you from you, like your virtue or something tangible, some tangible possession, your life, your opportunity. And may I remind you that that sort of a person isn't always white. Your enemy is not always white, friends. Your oppressor can be your neighborhood or school bully even. The whole cancel culture that we've been living in lately is a great example of what oppression looks like in modern day society, in media, in entertainment, in business, because someone made a mistake, or they misspoke, or they just have a difference of opinion, or they are of a particular lifestyle, they are pushed out, they are propositioned to be canceled. We've seen black cops act out just as badly as white cops, Asian cops, Hispanic cops, Indian cops, whatever. One of the many verses discussing the oppressor in the Bible, one of my recollections of the oppressor is that the oppressor is a wicked man, Job 15:20, someone who withholds justice or righteousness, Jeremiah 22:3. Malachi 3:5 talks about folks who oppress the hired worker in their wages. We know people like that, and they're not always white. The face of the oppressor does not always differ by much compared to you and I. And we really need to get off that whole color thing. While there is an oppression based on race, yes, let's not overlook the many other images of what oppression can look like. And even more, let us try to avoid taking on those roles ourselves and using it against one another, especially in the instances of, difference of opinion or lack of understanding of someone's point of view. Don't be the oppressor, because you can in fact be the oppressor if you're not careful. We are all capable of, I spoke about it a few weeks ago, being our own worst enemy. But that's all I gotta say. Thank you, sir or madam, whoever you are, in my comments, because you motivated this conversation. Bye now. Have a good day.